Actually, we already have people waiting.
Always.
Yeah, but
You
there's
always have people.
but now it's quite a bit. Like there are 14 people waiting. I think usually we have like one or two. And now we're live. So saying hi to the 14 people who are 2 minutes early. Hi everyone. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as we talk about running your LinkedIn from your AI. So whether it's Claude or ChatGPT. So as we wait for people to come in, we did have a quick question for everyone, and it's really simple. We just want to know what AI are you using? Are you a Claude user? Are you a ChatGPT user? Feel free to drop it in the comment section. And if you're using something else aside from Claude or ChatGPT, we would also be curious to know what it is.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, so we have a couple of answers. Danny uses ChatGPT Plus. Presence uses all of them. And if you're just joining us now, I just asked in earlier, what AI are you using? Are you using Claude? Are you using ChatGPT? Or are you using something else? So quick round of introductions on the two of us. So I'm Annika. I'm from the growth team at Taplio. And then I'm joined by Justin, who's our product lead. And the Taplio MCP is pretty much his brainchild, along with the product team and the tech team. So he's going to give us all of the advice on how to best utilize it. And again, really quickly, because I started ahead of time, if you're joining us now, I asked people to drop what LLM they're using. Are they using ChatGPT, Claude, or something else? So, a couple of reminders for today. We are going to be really active in the chat, so feel free to drop your questions directly in the chat throughout the presentation. And our growth lead, Virgil, will be taking on your questions. If it is in a relevant section of the presentation, then we will answer them live. The second thing is um, no pressure to take screenshots of the presentation because we'll make sure to share it to you after we go live. So definitely all of this information will be made available to you. And then the third thing is that we are seeing a lot of variety actually in the chat for what people are using, Josquin. So we do have a lot of people who are a mix of Claude users, a mix of ChatGPT users. For now, we will focus on Claude workflows. If you
Yeah.
do have any questions about ChatGPT, just drop them in the chat, and then Virgil will answer them. Or if we do see a lot of people coming in with questions about ChatGPT or other LLMs, then we'll definitely take it on live. Okay, great. So I'm actually going to start off the session, and then Justin is going to make a comeback later to join us and to talk about specific workflows. So maybe first to start with our agenda. So what we'll cover today, basically we'll have around 40 minutes of your time today. And what we want for you to take away are mainly two things. The first one is how do you effectively set up your Taplio MCP into Claude or any LLM. And the second thing is that we want to make this as actionable for you as possible. So that means that we want you to take away one key workflow that you can literally use now after you set up the MCP. So the goal really for us is to make sure that you're spending less time on LinkedIn. And then secondly, for you to create high quality content. We've been seeing a lot of questions from you from the sign up sheet alone, saying that you really want to make sure that the content that you create is really not AI slop. So hopefully the session will be able to help you with that. So first, to start off, let's talk definitions. So what exactly does MCP mean? So MCP is pretty much an abbreviation, and it means Model Context Protocol. So this isn't something that we made up on the Taplio side of things. This was actually something that Anthropic had created, and it basically allows any AI assistant to use real tools and not just chat with you. So what that means is that in any case where you want to do a real action outside of your chat box, then you should use an MCP. So let's take an analogy of a phone. Let's pretend that Anthropic or like your Claude or ChatGPT is basically a phone. And in this case, the MCP is actually an app that allows you to listen to music, take photos, or interact with other people in different settings. So the MCP pretty much allows you to take real world actions that don't just exist in Claude or in ChatGPT. And then how it actually works. It's actually pretty simple on your side. So on your side, you would just have to talk to Claude like normal. You would just have to chat with Claude and ask for anything straightforward. And then on the back end side of what Claude is actually doing is that it's interacting with the Taplio LinkedIn MCP, and it picks out the right tools to interact with to do an action. So in this case, the Taplio MCP is the one who's actually working on your Taplio account and is actually the one that can do LinkedIn related actions, whether it's publishing a post or even just scheduling it. So a couple of important notes that you guys should know about the Taplio LinkedIn MCP. So first, on safety, we really make sure that we keep your account safe. So what we mean by that is that we don't do any scraping and we don't use any bots when it comes to enabling the MCP. Secondly, before you actually get to publish content on LinkedIn, we always ask for your consent. So you're always going to see like a little window in your chat that will ask you if you would allow that action. And for us, it's really just important to make sure that you know what's going on in your account and that you're always in control. The second thing is, in terms of how you best use the Taplio LinkedIn MCP, we really want to specify that it's important to mention use the Taplio MCP in your prompt. So this not only allows you to save the tokens that you're using on Claude, but it also allows Claude to know to use the Taplio MCP continuously. So just make sure that you're always mentioning use the Taplio MCP in any prompt that you give to Claude. And then just a note as well for the limitations that we have currently with MCP. So just good for you to know that currently we only have text-based outputs, meaning you can't yet add or create media like images or videos directly from the Taplio MCP, and you would have to open the Taplio app to do so. Okay, so what's actually under the hood when we talk about the Taplio MCP? So as I mentioned, the MCP is actually composed of different tools that enable Claude to do certain actions. So here you can see an entire routine of things that can be done on Claude. So first you have research tools, and then you also have tools for writing, scheduling, and then analyzing your posts. I think a big question that we had was what exactly is the differentiation of using the Taplio LinkedIn MCP versus just using Claude or ChatGPT directly. And the big difference, I would say, is two things. The first one is that you can now directly schedule and publish drafts on LinkedIn or on Taplio without actually having to go into these apps. And all you would have to do is open up a chat with Claude to be able to do that. Obviously, you can't do that without the MCP, and it's because the MCP is the connection to LinkedIn and Taplio. The second thing is we basically get all of the real-time data that you have from posts that you've had on LinkedIn or from posts that other people have had on LinkedIn. And that's what we use to create the research and to create the analysis for you to actually come up with better posts. So the key difference here is that when you were just doing this with AI, you would typically get very generic types of posts. And now that you're using the Taplio linked MCP, we're actually using data that you've shared from posts that you've shared online or from inspiration that we've gathered from similar audiences to yours. So honestly, it's been a game changer for me, and hopefully it's also going to be a big help for you guys. So last thing for me, I also wanted to give a shout to the Claude skills that we have. So this is a different concept, separate from the MCP. And the way that to understand Claude skills is basically, let's say let's say that the MCP is like a hammer, and then the Claude skills are actually the YouTube tutorial that you watch so that you are able to use the MCP. So these are instructions or prefixed recipes that help an AI understand how to use a hammer slash the Taplio MCP, and these are instructions that are basically usable for any use case that you have that involve the Taplio LinkedIn MCP. So here you can see a list of the different skills that we have available for you. And if you haven't downloaded them yet, these are all free skills for you to add onto your Claude onto your Claude. For now, it's not available on ChatGPT because this feature isn't yet on ChatGPT. But basically, this is something that you could download on Claude directly. And as I said, it's completely for free. And actually, we'll drop the link in the comments section as well so that you can access all of the skills that you need to download. So I think that's it for me. I'm going to switch it over to Justin so that he can show you actually how you can set up the MCP and also how you can set up Claude skills.
Yes, thank you, Annika, and hi, everyone. For those I haven't greeted yet, so I'm Josquin. I'm the product manager at Taplio, and I'm going to show you the setup. I'm going to show you how to add skills and to leverage the MCP basically. So this is my screen, and we're going to go straight to Claude. So you should probably know this interface. What I'm going to show you is available from the Claude desktop app. That's what I'm going to be showing you guys. But you can also do it from Claude web, so in a browser, or from Claude Code. But the demo will focus on Claude desktop. It's more or less the same thing on the other interfaces. So no worries. And if you need anything and you have any question, you can reach out to us. So for the setup, because that's the first thing we want to show you guys, you need to add to customize here. As you can see, I'm on the skills set here. Add two connectors. I don't have the Taplio connector yet on this account, so I'm gonna add it here, clicking on add custom connector. I'm gonna name it Taplio, and I think, yes, it was in my, I just pasted it, so it's mcp.taplio.com with HTTPS, and you can click on add. It's gonna add the Taplio connector. It's actually already connected because I uninstalled it before installing it, so I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect for the sake of the demo. So if I click on disconnect, you should be seeing this if it's the first time you do it. Then you click on connect. And okay. Oh, okay, it's not the good account. That's the demo effect. I don't know if you're aware of what the demo effect is, but that's exactly that. But I know what's happening, so we should be good in a bit. Not showing any secrets here. Yes, getting back to Claude. Yes, I'm going to click on connect again. Sorry about that. We should be good. So I'm redirected to Taplio. If you're not sign in to Taplio, then you should sign in first or sign up if you don't have an account, because you need an active subscription or an active free trial to benefit from the MCP. I'm going to click on allow, and in seconds, I should be prompted to go back to Claude. I'm back, and now Taplio and the MCP are connected to Claude. So as you can see, we have 8 read-only tools and 6 write-delete tools. So that's the tools Annika showed you just before. You can decide from this panel if you are allow Claude to use the tool or not, or if Claude needs permission to use it, or if it's just blocked. My advice is that for starters, you should maybe go with the need approval, so the small hand here. Claude will ask you if it can use the tool before doing it. The read-only tools are not that dangerous because as said, it only reads data, but it won't do anything in your Taplio account. If you need to write or delete stuff, then needing approval could be the better way to start. Once you're getting used to the MCP, you can just put everything to always allow. But that's probably something would be better to need approval first. So the connector is in. What I need to do next is install the skills. So I'm going to head to customize to skills and click on add and upload skill here. I've downloaded them on my computer before, so I won't be doing that for the sake of the demo. But once you have downloaded them, you can just find them and drag and drop them in the chat here. I think it's on my desktop here. I have everything. I click on open. And as you can see in the background, all the skills are added to Claude. And the skills have the context of the Taplio connector / Taplio MCP, which means that once you summon the skill, it will automatically call the Taplio MCP. You don't have to say it verbally. So that's pretty cool as well. Okay, so I'm good. I have my skills. I have my Taplio MCP up and running. So we're good to start. So I'm gonna go with first use of a skill, which is the content pillar builder. So I'm just gonna call the skill like this and don't do anything else, just for you to see what happens. So this skill is about building my content pillars. So all the bricks and the topics I want to talk about. So what it's gonna do essentially is try and call my Taplio account, leverage my profile, leverage the posts I've been doing if I posted in the past, everything it can it knows about me. Then it will go with building the content pillars. Okay, so apparently it seems it didn't do it. Again, the demo effect. So let me try it again. I'm just going to ask if it has context about the Taplio MCP. I can share a whisper so I can do it like this. Do you have access to Taplio MCP? By the way, if you have questions, I can take them while Claude is thinking, because it takes some time, as you know. So that's something we can do. Okay, so it's requesting the tools just to make sure I have access to them.
Okay, let me check the questions first. As we're waiting, so we did get a question from George. Is it possible to edit the skills file for a non-technical user? Because he wants to maybe tweak some things, add some new things.
Yeah, sure. If you go in customize, then you can just edit the skill and put whatever you want into it. So it's really a matter of it's on Claude's end. We provide the skills that we think are the good skills, but if you want to tweak them, you can on your end. So there is no issue related to this. You just have to check the content of the skill, because it's I can show it around actually if I don't manage to connect the skill here, but it should be okay theoretically, and I can show you around. But yes, essentially a skill is a markdown file. So it's working now. As you can see, it's calling Taplio, it's calling my profile. It's a markdown file, so it's just text telling Claude what to do. That's what the skill does. So if you want to modify it, then you can modify it. And as you can see, back to the live demo, Claude is currently listing my post, is checking my per post analytics. So he's using tools to find information about me. So it's related to my Taplio account. And then based on this, it will create the content pillars associated with what it found. And based on those content pillars, if I'm happy with them, I can move forward and go with my my content calendar. So that's what I'm going to be doing after that. I guess we still have a bit of time for the questions, if you have some.
Yeah, we actually, funnily enough, we have some quick clarifications as well. People are asking, do we need to download both the Taplio MCP and the Taplio skills? Yeah, maybe could you share just kind of like for how people can, I guess, understand a bit clearer if how they set things up.
Can you repeat the question? Maybe I think I didn't get it.
Someone was just asking, do you need
Yes.
to download both Taplio Skills and the Taplio MCP? Um, Quick answer, it's not mandatory but highly encouraged. Yeah.
And the answer is actually no, meaning that the MCP can work as is. You don't need the skills to use the MCP. As mentioned by Anika earlier, the MCP is the toolbox. So if you are like a builder, you have a toolbox. Then inside the toolbox, you have tools, and MCPs have tools. The tools, for example, are schedule draft or check analytics or check profile. These tools check your Taplio account and find data the MCP and Claude can use to do stuff. It's what it did right now. It checked my analytics, it checked my profile, it checked the topics it found about me, so using tools. And based on this, he decided to build the content pillars. And as mentioned by Annika, the skills or the YouTube tutorial or the manual or the thing that goes with the tools. For example, it's pretty easy to use Hammer. So maybe you don't need a manual or a tutorial for this. But if you are a more specific tool, maybe you need a manual to know if you need to plug in this way or do it that way. That's what the skills are made for. You don't need the tutorial, maybe, if you're good enough. But most of the time, you might need the tutorial, and that's what the skills will help you achieve, essentially. Getting back to the demo, as you can see, my pillars are built, so it's based on my profile. I didn't give any context to Claude, just checked my analytics in Taplio and my profile in Taplio, and it defined my pillars. So I have 4 pillars, pretty happy with them. And it provided me with a frequency of the content I should post based on these pillars. So it's pretty cool. Let's assume I'm happy with this. I don't want to iterate with this. So I'm going to jump right into it and write my content calendar based on this. So it's called Content Calendar Planner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the skill and I'm going to add something to Claude so that he understands a bit better what I'm trying to achieve. So it's going to be using this skill to create my content calendar for the coming 4 weeks. I want to post 3 times a week. I'm based in France, Paris, but my audience is based in the US. I want you to adapt this knowing those facts. What I can tell is also 3 times a week. I want my post to be spread throughout the whole week. Okay, so I'm gonna go with this. Side note, I'm using Whisper to do what I did. So I click on a button and just record my voice and pastes it in Claude. So it's an additional tool. And now that he's aware of the content pillars and it built them, it will keep this context and it should create all the content calendar for this. So it's going to take a bit of time again. So maybe while it's done, Anika, you can maybe share the presentation and show the different workflows you guys could be using. And
Yeah,
when it's
sure.
ready, I'm going to tell you when it's ready.
Okay, great. Actually, let me just open the slides again. And also just checking the chat. Thanks, guys, for the animation as well for making sure that you're getting things set up properly. So feel free to keep messaging first if you're encountering some roadblocks. And we'll be happy to support you guys on either setting up on Claude or ChatGPT or whatever you're using. And now back to the presentation as we wait for the output to come in. So would you like to discuss a bit just about like the different workflows that we had in mind? I mean, we've road tested pretty much all of these, so we know that they work really well.
Yeah. So essentially, the one we're going to demo you guys is the one I was showing you. So the content pillars, then the content calendar planning, and then pushing this to your actual post schedule in Taplio. So that's where we're going to be showing you guys. So essentially, in 10 minutes to 1 hour, depending on the time you want to put on every post, etc. You should be able to schedule 4 weeks of content in that amount of time. If you go with the next workflow, this one is pretty cool as well. We have a tool that will allow you to repurpose a piece of content. So, for example, if you take a blog post, a YouTube video, a podcast, anything that is public, you give it to Claude, then the LinkedIn repurposer skill will help you, thanks to the tools of the MCP, build a post based on the content of the piece of content you shared. It will pull the best story crafted to your voice, to your content pillars, to craft that thanks to LinkedIn Story Extractor. And ultimately, it will write the post and again push it to your post schedule. So pretty cool as well. And the third workflow we wanted to share with you guys, there is an infinite number of workflows, of course, is using your analytics and what you've been doing over the past weeks and past month in terms of analytics to craft the content of the future. So you can use the skill LinkedIn Analytics Interpreter, then build your audience based on these analytics, thanks to Audience Persona Builder. Then you can find your top performing posts and decide which one would be better to repurpose. This kind of stuff. Use again the Content Pillars Builder and repurpose the content that worked in the past to fit the audience you've defined before. So that's again another workflow that we imagined. Of course, as mentioned, there's a ton of workflows. We invite you to test. There's a whole bunch of trial and error game at stake here. So just install the MCP, test it, test the skills. If some of them are maybe you think are not working well or you don't understand how to use them, you can reach out to us on LinkedIn or you can reach out to the support team thanks to the Intercom Messenger in-app. We're available for you. So that gives you the overview. And I'm ready with my workflow if you want to.
Yeah, let's go.
So let's go back to where we were. So back to Claude. It went with 12 posts. So I didn't do anything else than waiting, just for the reminder. So I don't need that. We're just going to check in the chat here in the middle. 12 posts, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, the Francis detail turned up something bigger than scheduling. Okay, yes. It tells me that my default is now 2:30 p.m. because it matches the Eastern time. Perfect. So it did what it's supposed to do. Two things at flag Friday. Okay. And if I check this content calendar on the right, then week 1. Okay. Format text plus 1 chart. Okay. Nice. Period format. Okay. So let's assume I review all of these and I'm happy with them. I invite you to do it super carefully because some things might be too complicated or whatever. So check that everything is up and running. Claude is not aware that the MCP cannot add media via the MCP. That's a limitation we mentioned before. So sometimes it's proposed to go with the carousels or with the images. It cannot attach media to the post. So just for you to know. But still, everything seems to be good for me. So what I'm going to be saying is I'm happy. Well, I'm going to say it out loud. I'm happy with the content. You can push it directly into Taplio and schedule it at the time that you defined. Okay, so theoretically, I didn't summon a skill as you can see. I'm just going to press enter. No skill needed. What I said is I'm happy with what you came up with. Just go and schedule it. I'm just going to precise something. I don't want you to try and attach media, so go with text only post. No need to have me validate the content. So let's see what it does. Again, it might take a bit of time. And in parallel, I'm going to open Taplio so you can see things happening in the background. So this is Taplio. I assume you have an active subscription. or a free trial active. So the MCP is active, etc. I do have an active subscription. So theoretically, in the coming minutes, you should see posts filling this post schedule without me doing anything because Claude is doing the heavy lifting, and I would be good to go for the upcoming 4 weeks. So let's see what it says. Again, it takes a bit of time because it's about scheduling 12 posts, so quite long. If you have questions in the chat, I can answer them. By the way, where this is running.
Yeah, so far, Virgil is doing a great job of answering the questions in the chat. So, just to give you background on what's happening there, Jusgang. So basically, a lot of people are setting up the MCP. So great news that everyone is actively like following the session. And then a couple of questions on people trying to understand um, how to best use the skills and MCP together. So as Virgil shared, we are going to make more content to make sure that you guys are able to use the MCP tools and skills in the best way possible. But honestly, for me so far, yeah, I'm just iterating a lot on my own. So I mentioned a couple of the tools that I find interesting to use and then kind of experiment from that. Personally, I really like the research tool to start with because I don't know if it's the same for you as well, Juskan, but like my LinkedIn has been showing me a lot of posts just from my network, but not necessarily the kind of posts that I want to create. So it's been really efficient for doing actual research and then creating drafts from that. Do you have any workflow suggestions that combine the skills and tools that you like?
To be honest, no, because it's my workflows and they won't necessarily work for you. I guess what will work for me is it helps me a lot with the ideas. So I guess you can just ask once your pillars are defined, once you have started posting, Claude will learn from you and will understand what you're trying to convey, the messages you're trying to convey. If it knows about your offers, about the services you're selling, this kind of stuff, it will go smarter with time. And that's what I would be using from Claude. So generating ideas. Then Claude also knows my tone of voice because I'm talking a lot with it. Taplio will soon know your tone of voice as well, so you'll be able to do it right from Taplio. That's also something I would leverage. But essentially, it's the time that I saved thanks to the MCP that helps me posting that much because, well, there is a lot of demo effect today, so I think it's because of me not being super focused on what I'm doing. But if you're focused on what you're doing, it's just super easy to go and schedule the posts, and it's happening right now. Finally, so as you can see, I have 4 posts scheduled already in my post schedule, and that's what helped me essentially. As you can see, 5 post schedule. It's going to be 6 soon, up to 12, if I'm correct, because it's 3 posts a week over the coming 4 weeks. And I'm not doing anything. It's really Claude doing the rest. So in terms of workflows, I guess it can be intimidating being in front of Claude and not knowing what to do. So, well, we're there to help first. The workflows that we're going to share are here to help, but they're not necessarily super adapted to you. So they're just standard workflows, let's say. You should really think of what you're trying to achieve. Tell Claude what you're trying to achieve, and what you're trying to achieve is only you used to know. And from there, it will do the rest. So I guess that's the message I wanted to share. There is no absolute workflow. There are just starters that you need to take and use and make it your own. Because if you don't, then you're just going to use the standard workflows everyone is using, and you're going to do the same thing than everyone. And that's not what you're trying to do. So at some point, you really need to think, what am I trying to achieve?
Nice. Before
Yeah.
we jump in, though, we have a really relevant question as well from Cyrus, asking what's the big difference between the Taplio LinkedIn MCP versus other MCPs that you could download online?
Sorry, I think I was reading the thing on Claude, so I
I
was a
mean,
bit.
you know what? Yeah, it's totally fine. Let me repeat the question. I think it's
Yeah,
really
sorry, good.
good. What's the difference between the Taplio LinkedIn MCP with other MCPs that you can just download online?
Oh, well, did you find another LinkedIn MCP? I mean, we have some competitors doing it, but for none of them will be as reliable and secure as ours. Um, we can guarantee that you won't have any service interruption. It's based on Taplio, which is the best in class in terms of technical architecture, in terms of security for your account, this kind of stuff. So I guess that's my answer. It's pretty much the one of a kind MCP related to LinkedIn. Again, we have competitors doing it, but there are very few of them. And we built it specifically for LinkedIn based on Taplio, which is specifically related to LinkedIn. So that's pretty much the only way to go, I would say. You can find other MCPs, of course, but MCPs doing what our MCP does, I mean, I couldn't find any one of them to be honest. So I guess that's my answer.
Okay, nice. I think we can get back to it then if you want to go through the demo.
Yeah. No, just to explain what happened. Again, the 5 posts were scheduled. So this is what you can see in Taplio. 5 posts were scheduled, and the other ones they were drafted as brief, which means they were added, if I'm correct, in Taplio as drafts like this. And this is Claude, which did that. It's not me. It did that by itself, and it tells me the brief as a draft so that I can use it in Taplio to leverage it later, because it wasn't certain that it would be super related to with my content. So it's pretty cool what it did. It decided itself not to schedule the post because it wasn't super secure about doing it. So pretty cool. So really happy about what it did right there. And yeah, I think I'm done with the demo. Happy to demo anything else that you guys would like to see.
Great, thank you so much, Josquin. I think that really shows like the power of the MCP, especially seeing the posts getting scheduled out. Literally, you were just in Claude, like no magic tricks behind the scenes. So let's see. We have a couple of questions, and as Josquin said, if you guys have any specific workflows in mind that you want to tinker with in the time that we have left, we'd be happy to test them out. So.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of questions about the skills because, and I can understand that because they seem really super powerful on paper, and they are super powerful. I guess the thing you were asking, it was Sandra Bergman. You said, how do you make the skills your own? So I can show you how you can. I mean, again, I'm not you, Sandra, so I can't vouch for you, but what you need to do is go to customize. Let's say, for example, I showed you the content calendar planner. So that's here. If you click on it, it will show you the content of the skill. So a skill is just text, basically. It's text with it's like a manual. It's like a recipe to make a pie or whatever that Claude can use and understand. So if you need to make it your own, as I said, you just have to edit it. Like you edit what's inside. And if you're not happy with this, you just get rid of it. And it's not here anymore. And it's not part of the recipe. In a recipe, if you're not happy with the amount of sugar because you think that in the recipe there are too much sugar or too less sugar, then just get rid of the sugar, or you increase the level of sugar, or you say, I don't want this type of sugar, I want this one. So that's typically what you would be doing with the skill. For example, in this content calendar planner, there is the cadence guidance, which tells you that basically you should be doing more than 3 posts a week. That 3 posts a week is the minimum. 4 to 5 is the thing to grow, and that daily is if you have a system and a strong pipeline of ideas. So maybe if you already know that your cadence, I don't know, sorry for the pronunciation. If you know it already, then you can just say, okay, I post 3 times a week, so just go with it. And well, maybe it's not the right way to say it, but anyways, now the skill knows that I'm posting 3 times a week. It won't do anything else than posting 3 times a week. If you want to modify it because you know that you post on Mondays but never on Thursdays, so you can add a specific instruction saying never post on Thursdays. But again, that's what I said by make it your own. I'm not the one to decide what you want to do. It's really you trying maybe the skill as is. If you think it's doing weird stuff or whatever, you can check the recipe and adapt the recipe to your needs. So that's what it does. Hope it helps. And yes, skills are editable, and you can actually create your own. Like we added them from Taplio, but you can create your own skills if you want.
We also have some questions from people just asking. We get this question quite a lot, actually. I think every webinar people want a bit of reassurance. Does publishing or scheduling with Taplio limit the reach or engagement of a post?
No, it does not. I mean, it's really not something we noticed. So essentially, what we do is that we post like if it would be you posting, let's say, in the way we crafted things in the background. So there's basically no way for LinkedIn to know that it's Taplio or you. So there's no reason for which your reach would be impacted. But reach varies. I mean, it's also something you need to know. Some of your posts might go super viral for no reason, and maybe they were not the ones you thought would be the ones going viral, but they go viral. And maybe the post with this nice carousel that you took 2 hours working on will flop, and there's no way to know how or why. The idea is really to try to also not only post but engage with people. So try and find content similar to yours, or at least with audience similar to yours. Engage with their content, connect with them, interact, like, share, this kind of stuff. The more you do, the more the algorithm and the people seeing your content will be relevant and adapted to your content, and the more they engage, and so on and so forth. And yeah, that's the way to go. But until you haven't posted, you never know. So you need to post. Maybe it's gonna be complicated some weeks or even some months, but at some point it will compound, and you'll find a pattern, and you'll find your audience, and you'll test things, and you'll learn on the way first, and I mean, actual skills, human skills, I mean, and in the end, your content will get better. So it's really a matter of showing up, like at the gym.
I think the webinar has been doing really well because apparently we've been having connectivity issues with the MCP, hitting our rate limit because too many people are trying it all at once. So thank you so much, guys, for the support. Really appreciate it. But yeah, maybe take some time after the webinar to try again if you're encountering any issues with it. As soon as you get the setup going, it's really straightforward, as you saw from the demo earlier. But yeah, thanks so much for the excitement. A lot of people actually just kind of asking, when is V2 coming out? When are the carousels going to be allowed to be created on Claude, and so on. So
As soon as we can. The holidays are coming, but we are actually working on it. So the keep an eye on our communications because you might receive emails from us, and we'll share the news when it's available. So you guys will be informed. Anyways, I'm just gonna add my LinkedIn on the chat if you want, by
I
the
think
way, and
we'll
Anika, you
take
can do the same.
the last 2 minutes maybe for people to ask any questions that they have. Yeah, feel free to drop any questions here, but I think it seems that things are quite clear for people right now. So just wanted to say thank you again for taking the time to join us today. And then if you missed it earlier, I had shared that we will be um, giving you access to this live webinar afterwards. So you'll see the resources and also hear a bit about the key points that we talked about today. Um, and I think I think so far it seems that all questions have been resolved. Um, Hopefully this has been really helpful for you guys to get started. Um, I know that it's super intimidating to use LinkedIn, and I was just telling the team earlier that I'm restarting to post on LinkedIn because the MCP has been a really good way to not get intimidated with everything that's happening on LinkedIn all the time. So this could be the basically your sign to get started and to restart or yeah, just be on LinkedIn. And so for now, someone is just asking if you can comment using the Taplio MCP.
Yeah, the answer is no, not yet. That's why people were asking for a V2, because that's something we can theoretically do, since you can comment through Taplio, the app. So we could be doing it through the MCP, but it's not available yet. And yes, you can set it up via ChatGPT SACG8WM. I think Virgil, well, in the chat, Taplio
Yeah.
app shared it, so you can maybe scroll up and find it somewhere. But there is a lot of a lot of things in the chat. I didn't know that.
We're
So
gonna
yeah,
send a recap email with all of the relevant links.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
yeah.
And again, you can add us on LinkedIn. We shared our LinkedIn profile, so and you can reach out if you need anything. I'm close to 5,000 followers, so if you want to help me, 25 to go. You guys are 82, so if
Yeah.
you add, start following me, I'm gonna reach 5,000 thanks to you. So
We're counting on you guys. So I think that's it. Thank you so much again. And let's keep it going. Hopefully, you guys use the MCP as soon as we end the stream. But thank you so much for your support. And we'll catch you next time for our next webinar. We usually run one or two every month. So just stay tuned for that. Thanks, guys. See you around.
see you guys. Bye bye.
Okay. I just ended the stream. And we should be